Hey everyone, this is the IoT show. We're live from Nuremberg at the IoT Stars party, and I have Robert with me tonight. Robert, how are you?
Good. How about yourself?
I'm
awesome.
Good. I'm excited.
Yeah,
you know,
very,
like
very
10
much.
minutes ago, I didn't have power. I didn't have network connectivity. So for a live, it's kind of a little bit stressful.
So right before I showed up, you were stressing out.
I was?
I didn't get to see that part.
When you came in, no, yeah, exactly. When you came in, it was all relaxed.
Yeah.
But people didn't see us was before. So
Well,
Robert,
you played it off well.
You see, always. People don't know, right? So tell me a bit about yourself, Robert. Where are you? What are you doing?
Yeah. So Robert Wolf, core member of the DevEco community. So if you're familiar with DevEco, we founded this community about 7 years ago on Discord, and it's become quite a cool place to just hang out. We focus on like mental health and the developer struggles that go on beyond corporate, beyond kind of your job. And it's a nice little place to kind of like let loose and be a developer, right?
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Interesting.
But
so,
founded a consultancy as well. So now kind of doing DevRel as a service, on the side.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
How'd that work?
It's actually working pretty well. A lot of fun. I mean, okay, I'll tell you something. When I used to say, I love what I do and I would do this whether I got paid or not.
Yes.
Right. The reality of it is that, I worked 12 years in a row, and the day that I left my previous job, I started the next job. So could I really say that I genuinely was doing what I loved and that I would be doing it whether I wasn't getting paid? Until finally I wasn't getting paid, and sure enough, I gravitated towards community.
Yeah,
and
that's
DevRel.
cool.
Yeah,
that's cool. Interesting. So let's talk IoT. So the first question I have for you is kind of a question that we ask sometimes. It's pretty interesting because it gives us an insight into who you are, what you think, what's your perspective. So what is the most interesting, innovative, or totally stupid IoT device you've encountered?
I'm gonna probably be somewhat controversial on this one. I like Web3. Okay. And so I like Web3 when it's done right. I know there's a lot of bad players out there. I know that there are a lot of companies that, just promote their vaporware and try to get these tokens out there. There is a device called the Pebble. It's actually called the Pebble.
Okay.
Pebble Tracker, I believe it's called. It was developed by a company called IoTex.
Okay.
And it's on the IoTex blockchain. But there's a company called EnviroBlock. Okay. EnviroBlock. They launched this reward system that they put their kind of product on this Pebble tracker, and then they have you put this Pebble tracker in your attic. Okay. Now, what it does is it rewards you in tokens, in IoTex tokens, every day for giving them data about your attic, sensor data about your attic. And what they do with that data,
like temperature, humidity, it's kind
temperature, the degradation of your roofing, they take that data and they sell it to roofing companies. And these roofing companies now have a better idea as to how often these roofs need to be replaced, how actually, robust their solutions are, what types of tiles or shingles they need to put on your roof. So I thought that was pretty interesting. You're getting rewarded for literally making your home
you're
more
selling your data.
cost effective. Yeah, you're selling your data.
You're selling your data as a customer, but then the actual customer, which is a roofing company, gets very interesting insights without having to deploy their own solution.
But this is yes, absolutely. Yeah. But the cool thing about this that I love the most is that it's not being sold as like, hey, this is a free product. You're actually monetizing your data. And so we used to, or we were raised, I want to say like in the data era, is that we were raised to think that products are free, but they're not free.
Yeah, true.
They're free because we're giving data, right? But now in some ways, we're actually kind of bringing the data ownership back to the people and allowing them to start monetizing that data. So that's fascinating. When companies are doing that the right way, I think that's
fascinating.
Cool.
So I've got another one for you. So like I've heard a lot these days about, hey, is IoT dead? And we have the next one lining up there. How are you, man? So we hear a lot about IoT is dead and IoT no longer is whatever. So tell me, is IoT dead from your perspective?
It's not dead until there's like an IoT device in every single little reflector on the freaking road. Like, is IoT dead? Yeah. Like, IoT should be essentially everywhere. I mean, not only that, like, have you heard of these new? I can't remember the exact name of the sensors, but I just call them proof of life sensors.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Now, instead of just looking at PIR or distance sensors, you now actually have sensors that can detect whether or not you're breathing, whether or not your heart is beating. And I mean, these aren't in every hospital room yet. These aren't in every hospice room yet. Like old folks' homes, the biggest generation of our time, the boomer generation, like they're pushing towards this, elderly phase, and yet we are not addressing those needs yet. So IoT is not dead. Lots left to be developed.
The keyword, maybe the buzzword.
IoT. We need some more IoT stars.
Yeah, and we'll cover them at the IoT show.
Yes.
So what I just did, Robert. Thanks a lot for your time tonight.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I'll see you around.
Bye,
everyone. Bye. And here we are back at the IoT show live at IoT Store at Embedded World. Mouthful, right? And we have Jonathan with us. Jonathan,
good to see you again.
Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Yeah, people are coming in, just stopping here and just what's going on. So, well, sit down and just like, what's happening? You're live, and we'll have the episodes also cut out. So, so for people who don't know you, who are you, Jonathan? What are you doing?
Hi, my name is Jonathan Barry, CEO of Goliath. IoT platform, connecting devices to the cloud, securely enabling end-to-end management as well as AI enablement.
Okay.
Been around in IoT for
some time.
Yeah, gray hair show.
Cool, man. So actually, you've been around IoT for some time. Question I'm asking everyone tonight: what is the most innovative, impressive device you've ever encountered so far? What's the one that comes to mind?
I love boring, simple sensors.
Okay.
And turns out we have two completely different customers in smart concrete.
Okay, smart concrete. Okay. You're going to have to say a little bit about that.
I know.
Right?
I love it. And I actually, in this process, learned all about concrete and the challenges of the concrete industry. Depending on the use case, concrete, if mixed correctly, can last for 30 years.
Okay.
If mixed incorrectly, can crack. And it just takes the most simplest pressure sensor embedded in the concrete, whether it's the foundation of a house or a pylon for a bridge.
Or a museum made out of concrete here. Yeah.
And it's amazing because it's a slow-moving thing, but with just tiny little bit of data, 1 to 3 times a day, they can accurately predict, 1, if concrete was mixed incorrectly, and 2, when it's going to fail.
Okay.
So I love these sort of like very simple sensors, but have outsized impact. It saves building owners hundreds of thousands of dollars.
I bet you, and that's impressive actually.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
we're on the Awesome, Jonathan. What's going on these days with Goliath? I think you had an announcement recently about from Bluetooth to cloud, or so tell me more about that.
Yeah. So historically, the IoT products our customers build are directly connected to the internet.
Yep.
Wi-Fi, cellular, Ethernet, does some thread stuff.
Yep.
But there's a whole other category of devices that increase in complexity because they're behind some sort of gateway.
Okay.
And the thing I like to tell customers who come to us trying to explore the space is the moment you want to deploy a gateway, congratulations, you're now a network operator.
Exactly.
You're your own mini Verizon.
Yeah.
And so we've been researching the space quite a bit and have been developing some technology around enabling gateway-based technologies on top of Goliath. And so that Bluetooth sensor that might be measuring vibration of a factory equipment needs its own protocol, security, all the things that we support with cellular devices, but then also a gateway. And so what we announced last week ahead of the Meta World is our end-to-end Bluetooth to cloud connectivity solution. And so these sensors, these are not our sensors, but
goodies.
Yeah, goodies. And this is a normal Bluetooth kind of sensor.
BLE or Bluetooth?
This is BLE.
BLE. Okay.
Specifically. More to come in that space, but the challenge of how do you securely connect this to the gateway? How do you encode your data to the gateway? How do you get firmware updates off the cloud onto the gateway down to the device?
Yes.
And how you do that scale? And so these problems we solve for, again, traditional internet-connected nodes, and we bring that to Bluetooth and BLE specifically devices. And it's kind of amazing. Like we can run AI models at the edge on a
low gateway,
and now we can do it all the way over through Bluetooth. And so it's sort of first-class devices that are Bluetooth. That's
awesome. So what do you see the main first types of scenarios for this kind of solutions? Because we have home automation with many Bluetooth devices around us and so on. So what are the main industrial, I would say, or commercial solutions you're seeing?
Actually, a couple. We see a lot of interest in medical devices, which we've never historically worked in. Right? Think about the remote patient monitoring, tracking hospital beds, environmental sensing in kind of patient setting. Those are all typically Bluetooth type devices. Maybe they're not wearables, but they're fixed in position. Trackers. So instead of having a cellular device that can track a package anywhere, indoor tracking, Bluetooth is very popular. And we're also seeing a lot of general, let's say, monitoring. So we do a lot with industrial, manufacturing, et cetera. You can't put a cellular device on every node. If you have let's say a textile manufacturing line, you might have 40, 60, 100 machines in your factory if you're a large manufacturer. Certainly you can't do that. Running Ethernet cable is usually inaccessible. Even Wi-Fi, which you would think would be ubiquitous, is not readily available in most manufacturing. So what we actually see is customers want to just deploy what I've heard is a lick and stick. So a sensor that's easy to open up, drop on, something like this, right?
No heavy provisioning.
Exactly. Prepared, battery operated. put on the side of your factory equipment, and then you have a single install gateway, which bridges it from the sensors on the factory line. Yeah. So that's another good example.
Okay, love it. Awesome. Going to see many of these, I'm sure, because I can see many situations where people trying to do that and implementing their own solution. I think this is where solutions like Goliath plus that now, which is you come into the hardware part of the story, are super interesting. People are struggling trying to implement. They have the idea, and we've been talking about that for the last 10 years. All these, ideas about what you can do with IoT.
Yeah.
But it's hard. It's hard, and implementing all these stacks is hard. And so you're basically looking at a way to solve problems that are common into different scenarios that people can just go off the shelf, deploy, operate, and spend time on that.
Yeah, I think we've talked on your show, and a lot of your guests, there's a lot of technology and technology stacks that unlock IoT data, and it's getting in the way. And it's been getting in the way for the last 40 years.
Yeah.
And companies like us and all of our peers in the space is trying to kind of shave off a little bit of that technology so it becomes less important and more focused on customer value.
Awesome. Love it. Jonathan, thanks for your time.
Thank you so much.
Have a nice night here at the IoT Stars.
Looking forward to it.
And on to the next one. See you guys. And we are back again with Brendan this time. We are still at the IoT Stars event. This is the IoT show. Thanks for tuning in, people. And Brendan with us tonight. How are you, man?
I'm doing very well.
Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too.
Long time no see.
I know.
Yeah. So who are you? What are you doing?
So I'm Brendan Tatcham. I'm the Senior Vice President of Product and Experience at Blues. I've been at Blues for just about 5 years.
So. I like the name.
Yeah,
it's so yeah. I work for Blues.
It is Blues. It's an easy one. Yeah.
It's a good one. So same question I'm asking everyone to you. You've been in the IoT domain for some time, right? What is the smartest, preferred, most stupid IoT device you've encountered?
I have to gravitate towards stupid, and I'm going to answer a class of devices. The stupidest IoT devices ever are consumer devices that require me to put them on my Wi-Fi network at home.
Oh yeah,
and then as soon as I get them on the network, require a firmware update, require use their app and only their app.
Yeah,
I think we've created this whole cottage industry of connected appliances that don't ever actually get used. The internet connection doesn't get used.
Yeah.
The apps stay on people's phones, probably in a botnet somewhere at some point. Yeah, yeah. Those are the things that give IoT the bad reputation.
Do you think Matter is going to help sort that problem out?
I hope so. I think so. It's a long. It takes a long time. Consumer tech, especially, but consumer IoT. And when you're working in Wi-Fi, when you're working with devices that either aren't getting provisioned on a home network, it's tough. It's tough.
I have a Samsung, Zigbee hub at home.
Oh, like the old smart things.
Smart things, right? Work pretty well. And interestingly, there's a community building drivers.
Oh, that's great.
Matter drivers for the old Wi-Fi chips.
Oh, that's perfect. Right? Yeah.
And so now I can control my Wi-Fi devices that were controlled through a stupid app through the Samsung smart things.
All right, so there is hope.
We're getting there.
Hope for us. Yeah, that's good. That's a good thing. I love it.
Somewhere.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that.
Cool, cool. So tell me about Blues. What's going on these days? What's new at Blues?
Sure. So Blues, we're a wireless connectivity company. So what we focus on is making wireless connectivity simple for developers across cellular, Wi-Fi, satellite, and LoRa. And so we provide a product that is a combination of hardware and a cloud service that work together to really make it simple for for customers to take disconnected things and turn them into connected products. And so our core module is a product called the Note Card. It's on the same form factor, whether you use cellular, Wi-Fi, LoRa, or satellite. And that's been our mission for the last several years, is just making connectivity simple. What I like to refer to as the messy middle piece of IoT connectivity that always made it hard for companies to get started, because they just wanted to connect something, and they have to go through this entire gauntlet of choices they have to make to get anything connected, and then get the data to the cloud, when all they really wanted was to take this disconnected thing, light it up, send data through the cloud. And that middle piece was so hard. And so that's what we focused on. And really, we are focused on just doubling down on great connectivity. Satellite is where we've been focused a lot recently. We've been doing more in LTE Cat 1 Biz, so getting sort of middle of the road between NB-IoT, which is going the way of the dinosaur, but providing customers with something that's kind of cheap as Cat M, but capable like LTE Cat 1. And so it's interesting times in that space, in 5G, new radio, red cap, everything. A lot happening in cellular, and so that's where we're focused.
Is it fair to, I was talking to some folks on your booth earlier today, and I was asking, if I were to go to you with a question about how different types of devices are connected, they're placed in different places. Some of them have cellular, coverage, some don't. Some have Wi-Fi, some don't. Is Blues helping sorting the problem of having different types of software deployed when the connectivity is different? As in, I want to have the same functionality, but I want to abstract the type of connectivity.
Yeah, ultimately, because our products are all on the same connector, the same M.2 connector, a customer can build a product that is aware of our sort of multi-rat approach, and then change in the module at the point of deployment. So they can deploy with cellular, deploy with LoRa when that makes more sense, fail over to satellite when they're in a circumstance where cellular is not available, et cetera. All of that with the same form factor. So it gives you single hardware, single product. It's just that connectivity module that you can swap in.
And you are also abstracting the cost of these types of connectivity to them?
Absolutely, yeah. So cellular in particular, the state of the art when I first got into space 8-9 years ago was everybody prototyped on Wi-Fi, because cellular may be where we wanted to deploy, but you were starting the clock on a data plan the second that you turned that thing on. It was basically, we used to price cellular IoT data plans like SIM plans were for us 10 and 15 years, or sorry, MMS plans were 15 years ago, right? And so, what we provide with the Note Card is included connectivity. So it's 500 megs of data and 10 years of service with the cost of the hardware. So it's a part of your BOM. So rather than being a monthly cost, the cost of the data is just included in the hardware itself. So,
awesome. Yeah. And if you want to go beyond,
then you can buy more.
We can talk.
Absolutely. But 500 is a lot for a lot of applications.
Yeah. It is a lot.
Yeah, it's basically, sending one payload every 15 minutes for 10 years.
Yeah. So here, it begs a question then. Yeah. AI is big buzz these days.
Absolutely.
Edge AI is becoming, it's taking on the tailwind of Gen AI.
Absolutely.
Edge AI, I believe, will be big because we now know how to make these models run on this tiny controller. One of the things that you will need and want, not for Edge AI, but for security and CRA reasons, you want to do over-the-air updates of models and things like that.
Absolutely.
How entangled, correlated are connectivity and AI and edge AI in particular from your perspective?
Very, very much so, especially because that last piece of when you're doing fine tuning or refinement of a model and you want to get that model down to a device. I think what we have tended to see in the past is firmware binaries were shipped as one giant thing. And so if you're starting to put ML models in with the binary, now you've got a 1.5 meg, 2 meg binary. Maybe that's fine running over a Wi-Fi connection, but a lot of production stuff is running over cellular, running over LoRa, and it's not even possible to do OTA in a lot of those sorts of circumstances. And so respecting the payload and only shipping what's necessary is really important. And so one of the things we focus on with our customers is providing firmware update capabilities that allow you to separate out those assets and those resources. So you can pull down just the firmware part of the binary if the model hasn't updated, or if you've got other assets that are coming, or if you fine-tuned a model and you've refined it and you're ready to ship that down and it's 25K of a meg binary, then you're just shipping down the 25K. And that's an important cost savings. It allows customers to iterate on their models quickly without worrying about the dollar sign ticking up as they go through that
and that's a notion that's super important. Many people think about AI as something very fixed and unique,
right?
And in the edge AI space more than anywhere else, the context in which the devices will be, the sensors will be, is different from one device to another one, even if it's the same device, right?
It's ever training, ever changing, ever getting better, ever improving, which customers want to be able to benefit from that improvement, and so why not make it easier, cheaper, faster?
I love that. Are you having fun at Embedded World?
Absolutely. I ended up just getting in this morning, so I'm still a little jet lagged, but having a great time. And it's busy. I feel like it's actually bigger than it's been in the 4 years that I've been here. There's a lot of people.
I hear. Interestingly, I've not come in the last 4 years.
Okay.
I came pre-COVID.
Okay.
As Microsoft.
Okay. Yeah.
When we had one of the biggest booths.
Okay. Yeah.
We were like kind of like huge there.
Yeah.
And everyone was like pretty much like big, but not as big as I'm seeing today. I've seen some huge booths from big companies, but also from small companies.
Yeah. I mean, they're companies that I didn't exhibit the first time I came in 2022. It was the first time they'd done it after COVID. So it was a little lighter, just came for a couple of days. But over the last 3 years, I've seen it tick more and more. We were in the Zephyr booth 3 years ago, which is always great. Shout out to the Zephyr project, a great, fantastic project. We had our own booth here for the first time last year, and just seeing 15, 20, 30% more people every year, it's great. I'm happy to see it because you know what? 5 years ago, we thought in-person events were dead. So I guess they're not.
Yeah,
I guess
they're not. They're not. One last
yeah.
thing that I really liked about it, they kept the word embedded.
Yes.
It's not become the IoT, you know,
or even the AIoT
or the
conference.
AIoT or not the Edge conference.
Exactly.
It's still the embedded world.
Embedded,
conference.
absolutely.
Like
yeah.
Brendan, thanks for coming today.
Absolutely. Thanks
Have
for
a good night.
Me.
Enjoy.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, everyone, thanks for staying online. Actually, we're here, just like rolling here on the IoT show at IoT Stars. We have Xavier right now with us. Xavier, how are you? Good to see you.
Good to see you, Olivier.
Yeah, it's been some time.
It's been some time, right?
Definitely. So tell us, who are you? What are you doing?
All right, very quickly. So I'm Xavier Dupont. I've been 20 years in this IoT space. Spent 20 years in Asia, had a global business.
Okay.
In my former business, we deployed 3 million IoT devices. At very early stage, we were not calling it IoT, but machine to machine and telecom. And now I'm heading the business development for IoT in the Seasons Group, SD Wireless, which is a company providing products and services. I'm going to explain.
Awesome. Yes, we're going to get into that. Quick question before we get into the interesting and profound topics. A stupid one, interesting one. What is the most interesting, innovative, or stupid IoT device you've encountered?
All right. Most interesting, I'm going to mention, and I brought it. It's along with me.
Okay.
This is a device which is providing light into a village in Africa.
Okay.
And basically, it's a startup which came to see our CEO, Carl Hung, back in 2015 and said, well, guys, we want to help the world. We want to have a connected device which will help to power the village and give light for the village.
Okay.
And we took the bet to design the product, which is now powering more than 5 million houses in Africa, and that we manufacture for this company.
Awesome. And the interesting thing is that it's a simple solution.
It's a simple solution.
Right? Addressing a very complex problem and helping a lot, adding a lot of value.
That's
for
right.
people using it, right?
That's how the technology should be.
Yeah.
We try to keep the technology to be, we mind a lot the use case. What do customer and what do people want to do with the technology, and how the old ways can be replaced by a new way using technology.
Definitely. So Xavier, you work a lot internationally.
Yeah.
There is a situation, a geopolitical situation these days that seem to make things a bit more complex when it comes to making business. What's your perspective on that? How is IoT impacted today and will be tomorrow?
Well, in my view, it's heavily impacted. Let's remember what happened in 2022 during the component crisis. It was a nightmare.
Yeah.
Lots of companies, they had lead times of 50 weeks for a simple component. And let's not remember, if you don't have one component on your PCB, you cannot manufacture.
Yeah, sure.
So what we do in Seasons Group is we have 4 facilities in the world: Mexico, UK, Malaysia, and China. And what happened recently, we had a customer in October, they wanted to manufacture in Mexico, in, let's say, North America to reach the US market.
Yeah.
We had our Mexico facility. In January, they came back, say, hey guys, I'm sorry, it's not possible to go to Mexico. Well, we have Malaysia. Malaysia, zero tariff. So navigating this complexity today, I would call it a KO.
Okay.
You have to navigate the chaos. You need to have a partner. Doing it by yourself is impossible. Who knows who has this kind of leverage in 2 different regions?
Yeah, definitely. There's a couple of things that we discussed prior to this conversation today that relate to what you just described, because the geopolitical situation is making some problems harder, but there are problems that were already kind of tricky, like efficiently sourcing components, across the world, finding the right source, right place, navigating the geopolitical situation. Can you tell me a little bit about how you do, good design, sourcing the right products, the right sources?
For sure. So we see generally, unfortunately, I have this speech which says that 80% of the IoT project don't go beyond proof of concepts.
Yeah.
And it fails generally into 2 areas: the specification and the manufacturability of a device.
Okay, yeah.
And how a project is handed over from R&D to production. And in every company, you have these challenges between teams. So what we have in a Seasons Group, because we are natively an EMS and we have the design capability and we understand the technology, we go with this design for manufacturing approach, TFM, which allows us to do that because we are into the high mix, low volume, which means we have more than 1,000 suppliers. More than 1,000 suppliers means that we need to be very efficiently sourcing, not only in some regions, sometimes due to supply chain, but also sometimes due to price.
Awesome.
And all this is taken into account at a very early stage when we get the project.
And interestingly, you usually work with customers who don't know about all of that because they have a fantastic idea like this one. They don't know how to go to market, right?
That's right.
So awesome, Xavier. Thanks a lot for your time today.
Pleasure.
I hope you're going to enjoy the IoT Stars party.
I'm going to do it.
Okay, I'll see you around.
See you around. Thank you, Olivier.
See you, man.
Bye.
Hey everyone, this is Olivier on the IoT show, and we're still at IoT Stars. It's starting to get busy over here in social, and we have that Shelby with us from Edge and Pulse Stacks. Thanks for joining us. How are you?
Oh yeah, great to be here.
Yes. Last time I saw you was at the Things conference in Amsterdam a long time ago, and you guys were launching. That was amazing, right?
Just over 5 years ago,
Yes.
we launched Etch and Pulse at a karaoke bar in Amsterdam during the Things conference.
Cool. We'll talk about the journey over the last 5 years, especially about the recent announcement. But before getting into that, people want to know you a bit better. So I'm going to ask you, what is the most interesting, innovative, or stupid IoT device you've ever encountered?
So I ran across a cool startup recently based out of California, 3 young female entrepreneurs who got really worried about lithium batteries going into the waste system.
Okay. Yeah.
So they created a new radar-based method for scanning for lithium batteries going into waste. So in disposal bins, at airports, anywhere. These lithium batteries make their way into the waste system and cause massive fires at waste disposal facilities. I thought that this is brilliant. Like
that's
saving
awesome.
the environment, saving like huge costs for waste, and doing it with like cool IoT radar systems.
Yeah.
So Nextera is the name.
That's awesome.
I thought that was really
That's awesome. You know, something that strikes me right now, realize that every single person I ask this question, if I had asked the question 5 or 10 years ago, would have come with the Internet of Shit answer. Today, everyone comes with an actual, real, useful, innovative solution. That's awesome. That's really a big difference. So Zach, tell us, 5 years, and we just had an announcement. So tell me about this announcement. What just happened to Edge Impulse?
So yesterday, we announced that Qualcomm is in the process of acquiring Edge Impulse.
Okay. So what does that mean for people using Edge Impulse and in general for Edge? What does that mean?
Yes, I mean, we all know Qualcomm is a massive innovator in technology.
Yep.
Created whole industries like cellular. And really it means two things, right? Everything will change and nothing will change.
Okay.
So Qualcomm is really on a mission to enable developers and enable software across AI for the edge.
Yeah.
And so Edge Impulse being the leading developer platform for AI, they want us to continue doing that. Continue to innovate for developers, continue to grow the developer community. We'll keep doing that on all the platforms.
Okay.
All the silicon vendors.
Because Qualcomm for now is not on microcontrollers per se, right?
Qualcomm doesn't do microcontrollers. Qualcomm doesn't do like mixed embedded. They're really focused on the high end compute. So think about like not just 10 to 100 tops, but I saw stuff now at Embedded World that was 1,000 to 2,000 tops. Server and in the factory on prem. So they're looking at very end of AI. How can you run 32 GPUs in parallel? And we just demonstrated that the first addition language models, 7-8 billion parameters running on device, on embedded device.
Nice.
On Edge Impulse.
Seen some of that.
Some very cool stuff. So Qualcomm wants to enable this new kind of generation of high-end AI and enable the full IoT ecosystem. So in a sense, Edge Impulse will keep doing what we've been doing. And now we'll start pushing the boundaries of new stuff, like Gen AI.
Yeah. There's one thing that resonated really well with me in that story, that I've been preaching the fact that AI at the edge is not always about just one AI at one edge. It's about distributing the intelligence in a smart way and orchestrating that intelligence and making a device smarter in doing one thing and making the device next to it doing well its own thing, and then having eventually a master or a gateway that is able to do a bit more because it's more powerful, can offload these tinier devices and vice versa. So do you actually share that sentiment that we're going towards a distribution of AI rather than just like pushing one AI down there?
Absolutely. I don't think there is like one AI to rule them all architecture coming. Like, it's very distributed, maybe becoming more so. So we're seeing AI models suitable for every class of device.
Yes.
Deep embedded microcontrollers with sensors, right? We can do sensor fusion to extract the first level of pattern from those sensors. Devices with cameras attached, so we can detect the object that we're interested in. So let's say a vehicle driving by a camera. But now, imagine that captured vehicle, send that to a local AI processing hub that has like 1,000 tops on it.
There you go.
We can run a 70 billion parameter. We can then analyze that vehicle image on that edge device. Kind of having like a cascading of models that can be in several different devices, that could be in one powerful device, and that can become spread. So I think the future of AI in the edge will look more like that. Process the data right where it is, and then we'll do further processing on the edge.
Yeah.
In the cloud.
And very often putting that data in a broader context with data from other type of sources and mix and matching, when it makes sense. Before I let you go, there's another question I really wanted to have your take on. What do you think will be the impact of Gen AI on the domain of edge AI or embedded AI developers?
So we're seeing two major things happening. For us, Gen AI is immediately useful for the engineering process.
Yes.
So we're already applying Gen AI in Engine Pulse today for auto labeling. So we can do AI labeling of computer vision really accurately, automatically. Super useful.
Interesting.
We're then using it for synthetic data generation. So we can generate human speech samples for keyword spotting. We can generate audio sounds like glass breaking, cars crashing. And we can generate really, really advanced computer vision by using Gen AI. We can also do simulation. So we're using things like audio to simulate whole physical worlds, right, and take computer vision. So data generation, one of the biggest problems we have is the lack of data from models.
Yeah.
And then in parallel, we're starting to see the beginnings of Gen AI models that are useful for edge applications. Here at Embedded World.
Yeah,
right?
in a smaller format?
In a smaller format. So here at Embedded World, we have a 7 to 8 billion parameter model, Java-based model, running in Edge Impulse, right? So doing an object detector cascading to a VLN. We're simulating that all in Edge Impulse to do the fine-tuning of prompts and the calibration of object detection, doing it for vehicle detection and vehicle analysis. And then we're deploying that to an edge device.
Awesome.
Right? So
I've seen the demo. If you are here at Embedded World, you have to stop by the Edge Impulse booth and see that demo. It's fantastic.
All 4, booth 405. Come check it out. See the
there you
demo.
go.
Really excited.
Zach, thanks a lot for stopping by tonight. It was a pleasure. See you soon.
Thanks for having me.
Sooner than 5 years from now.
Yes.
Hey everyone, this is the IoT Show. I'm Olivier, your host. We are still at IoT Stars in Nuremberg, next to the Embedded World event. That's a mouthful, lots of things to say each time.
Yeah.
And Jose is with me from Rackport. Jose, how are you?
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Me too.
So tell me real quick, who are you? What are you doing? What are you working for?
So I'm working for Rack Wireless, a Chinese company. We are manufacturers, hardware manufacturers, and most of our products are related to LoRaWAN.
Okay.
So low power, long range radio protocol.
Okay.
So our main products are maybe gateways, so the devices receiving the data from the nodes, but we also create like modules like this one, for instance. This is a, wait a minute, yeah.
It's a big one.
This is real scale, no, I'm joking. It's 1/10 of the new modules we are presenting in the embedding world this year.
Okay.
So this is based on an STM32 for low power, LoRaWAN connectivity, plus an ESP32 that you can enable or disable depending on what you want to do.
Okay.
We realized that, so one of the things that we like to do is to talk to our customers and we visit them and see what they are doing.
You do that?
Yeah, we do that.
Incredible.
Nobody does it. Yeah, we do that. And we learn a lot from that.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we learned is, even though our bestseller is the STM32 based module that we have, we call it RAX 3172, sorry. 60% of the people using that module adds an ESP32 to it just for packet sniffing, beacon sniffing, or just MQTT connectivity to configure anything.
Yeah.
So since our motto is IoT made easy, we wanted to make this easy for them, having a module with both solutions already built in and certified, pre-certified. So it will be easy to implement that in your own solution.
Awesome. So you're answering already half of the question I was about to ask you later on. That's okay. That's okay. That's mean you're smart. You know where I'm going. But before I go there, and just to confuse you, I'm going to ask you what I ask everyone here. What is the most innovative, interesting, or stupid IoT device or solution you've encountered?
So at the
in general, could be today, but could be in the past as well.
There are some stupid things, but I won't comment
you don't
about
want to go there. Yeah,
okay. But maybe I'd like to talk about. So I'm half a hardware software guy. Not good at any of these, but half the thing. But I know
jack of all trades.
I know that sometimes tooling makes a difference.
Okay. Yeah.
And with LoRaWAN, which we are talking about low power, having the right tools to make sure that your device is really low power is very interesting. It's very important.
Yes.
So there are some tools, and you can find them at the embedded, like Nordic's low power solution to take this.
Yeah.
But there is one that actually I didn't see this year, but I think they are here. I attended a demo last year.
Yeah.
And it's from a company called Koitech, and the product is OT. And it's like you connect that to your device. You can actually add code to your device to mark like breakpoints on your code, and it will automatically get you a profile of the consumption with all the information labeled or where you are, what the device is doing. And it is amazing when you're trying to do a really low power solution.
Okay.
So this is a very good tool. And another thing that I found this year, this is very low tech thing, but I loved it, is you know, third hands when you're soldering, this is very complex because sometimes you need more hands that you have.
Yeah, especially us software guys doing hardware. But
yeah, for me, that's the thing. It's complex too. There's the solution by a company. The solution is, I don't know if the company or the solution is called PCB Bytes. And it's actually like very smart thing where you can actually hold the PCB in place and then put your test probes on it, and it sticks in place, and it's awesome when you are trying to debug problems on the hardware.
Yeah.
And it's very simple solution that really does the job.
Simple usually works best.
Yeah, that's the best thing.
Which leads me to the question you have answered before. How is a hardware company like Rack Wireless making IoT easy, considering IoT is Internet of Things, includes cloud, software, hardware? What's your part in making it easier?
Yeah, that's actually the reason. So I have the feeling that IoT, if you split it into the different parts that it's formed of, each one of them is not that hard.
Yes.
But having the whole picture, or getting what you actually need, what components you actually need for your solution, that's really hard. So we are trying to help our customers in choosing the right solution.
Yeah.
And that's why we don't have a single solution, an end-to-end solution. We have modular approach to the solution, and we can tailor the solution to the customer use case. And we are doing it by talking to them a lot, and we prefer to talk to them up front. Up front. So when the project starts, instead of having them come to us later, say, "Hey, this doesn't work. What do I have to do?" No? So we like to work with them from the beginning in making their use case work.
You should listen, people. Like, listen to your customers.
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
I know it sounds like basic,
no,
but it's really basic.
You
It's like
have to say it.
it's the foundation.
It's the foundation. I like that. So last little question for you. You work a lot on LoRaWAN or with LoRaWAN. It's kind of the core of your offering, right? You decide to go that path. Where do you see LoRaWAN going? Like, is it in good shape? And how do you see it in the next 3 years?
So I think we've seen LoRaWAN growing for the last, LoRaWAN has 10 years now.
Yes.
So we've seen it growing more or less slowly, but now we can see like a ramp up in the adoption of LoRaWAN. And of course, there are other options as well. But I think the good thing about this is realizing that there is no silver bullet for IoT or pretty much for anything. So LoRaWAN is a very good solution for a lot of different use cases on IoT. You still need maybe like other options like cellular or other LP1 solutions. But LoRaWAN is in good shape, and the ecosystem is very mature now.
Okay.
So you can bet on LoRaWAN, and it will provide you solutions. But you have to be aware of this. Okay, maybe it's not 100% solution for all my use cases.
Yeah.
But that's with everything.
With everything.
Yeah.
And once again, when you talk to your customer, they'll tell you what they need, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Jose, thanks
Thank
so
you
much
very
for
much.
your time tonight. Enjoy your night. See you. Hey guys, this is Olivier. You're still at the IoT show live from IoT Stars at Embedded World Nuremberg 2025. And I'm here with Marcello. This is hard to say. I like it. Marcello, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing very well. How about
Good
yourself?
to see you. Yeah, I'm checking. Your mic is working. So Marcello, what are you doing these days?
So I'm the chief product officer at Arduino.
Okay.
And, I've been in IoT for, a long time at this point.
Yes, you have.
In different roles, right? Sometimes also together with you.
Yes.
But, mostly in the software and embedded side.
So suffice to say, you know a thing or two about IoT in general and everything that goes around. You build products yourself, device, cloud, both, etc. Perfect. I like that. My first question to you, because you know IoT so well, is what is the most interesting, innovative, or stupid IoT device you've ever encountered?
That's a wonderful question. I will go with a mix of all the, the above.
Okay.
It was actually the very first IoT device that I've ever connected in my career.
Okay.
Right? And it was a muscle cleaner. And believe it or not, there are companies out there that are building muscle cleaners.
Okay.
Right? And of course, right, they have motors and they have equipment and they need to be maintained.
Okay.
And predictive maintenance is actually a thing. Because if your muscle cleaner is not working, those muscles are not cleaning themselves.
Okay, like that's a good one because it's useful for people who love muscles, right? And eating this.
And I have pictures to demonstrate that.
It feels stupid, but it's not.
Exactly.
That's fantastic. Okay, cool. Okay, so you are working for Arduino. How long has it been now you're with them?
It's been, I would say, a year and a half.
Year and a half. You moved back to Italy.
I did, indeed, from the US.
How's it going there?
It's great.
It's great.
Also, it's great that, back at home in the US.
Yeah.
I'm kind of, still do a bit of
I'm missing your post about, bears and whatever, Postgres. I know you're writing in Italian, which I'm fine with, but
I know that you can understand that, so.
Yeah. I can't. So Marcello, let me ask you this. People have still, unfortunately, that perception that Arduino is about makers and hobbyists and so on. I know you're answering that question a lot, but I want you to tell me with maybe a different angle or not. Why would someone want to go with Arduino Pro to build a commercial product?
Absolutely. So I think that, first of all, there are two ways to use Arduino in a professional environment, right? There is using Arduino for professional prototyping. And I would say that is kind of, the hero scenario, right? And then there is using Arduino to scale a production deployment of IoT device.
Okay.
And the two things are actually connected, right?
Okay.
Using Arduino for prototyping in professional environments, you can achieve the same goal with a fraction of the complexity, a fraction of the time, a fraction of the cost, because basically Arduino is abstracting without obfuscating all the complexity from the electronics to the embedded software stack first.
Yeah.
But then, of course, right, for the right type of deployment, right, you can go chip down design, right, and you can basically refactor everything, or you can pick from the Arduino catalog of Pro devices, which are, thought for professional and scale deployments in terms of components, support, software, everything.
Scale.
To just scale. Yeah. Right, just to take lift and shift, right? Like we used to say in cloud,
yes.
Your code from your prototyping environment to your production environment, if you want, even over there.
Okay.
So effectively, you are cutting down the time and the effort of moving from pilot prototyping to production from months or years to literally weeks.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, that's a good reason. I like that. You have this Opta device. You have like several types of devices in the Pro line that serve different purpose, address different scenarios. One thing I like is they're making the right deals or the right partnerships. Like one with Blues is super interesting. Right? We had Brendan like earlier on today. That's a super interesting one. Blues is simplifying connectivity. You guys are simplifying the development of embedded devices.
Absolutely.
Match, right?
Yeah, it's a perfect match, especially Opta, which is our product line for industrial automation.
Yeah.
So it's slightly different from the traditional Arduino.
Yeah.
This is not a board, right? It's a finished product that you just put on your panel, right? And you control machines, you kind of monitor that sort of stuff. It's a seamless device that you just have to configure, right? Not to develop, right? If you want connectivity, you just literally connect a Blues connectivity module, and you're online.
Yeah, the same way actually people doing PLCs are doing in putting the I/O modules next to each other. It's all the same exact mode. So
Exactly.
They're familiar with it.
We are trying to make automation plug and play.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's beep that.
Let's not dig into that. Not tonight. Last short one for you. So you just talked about a more industrial scenario, right? You also have something with Matter that started some time ago. How's it going, and what are you addressing in terms of audience?
Absolutely. So Matter is an interesting device. It started as a maker-focused product, but then we actually realized that there was a huge interest from the community of using Arduino and Matter to actually prototype and scale to production, actual devices, actual products. So effectively what we're trying to do in collaboration with Silicon Labs is to bring Matter to the Arduino ecosystem, by leveraging the Silicon Labs technology and having a medical library that can help developers to just integrate Matter in their Arduino project without even knowing what Matter is. There is also an additional benefit. The Arduino Nano Matter, which is the product that we have, is a little board. Is the only prototyping board is actually certified for Matter, which means that if you take that, you put in your product, you don't have to go through the Matter certification,
You're already certified.
Exactly. And so your device, will pop up on your phone.
You sent me one, and I still owe you a little review on that one. So I'm working on that. I was facing a little problem, and we won't enter into the details here, but something that I'm fairly sure is solved by now. And
we also have the community preview of the product.
I
If I'm
like
not
something
mistaken.
very early, but I like to break these ones. That's what I like to do. Marcello, piacere you.
Likewise.
Ci vediamo down there. It makes Italian and English. Everyone stay tuned because we still have one more guest here on the IoT show tonight before I let you go. So it's going to be an interesting one. Marcello, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
And we are getting to the end of this live stream of the IoT show at IoT Stars. I think the rest of the IoT Stars event is also kicking up. So we're going to do that one nice and neat. Kevin is with us. Kevin, how are you? Thanks for coming.
Good to see you, Olivier. Yeah.
So Kevin, tell us, what are you working for? Why are you here?
Yeah, so I'm a director of product management at DigiCert on our device trust product line, which is a euphemism for IoT security. So we build products that help secure the Internet of Things. So device-side products, device management products, crypto products, over-the-air update products, and certificates. That's our bread and butter. So that's kind of what we've done historically.
Awesome. That's awesome. It's something that, security is too often an afterthought. It used to be an afterthought. I don't think it is anymore. I think companies are more and more concerned about security and consider security as a key aspect of their IoT development. I think it's super interesting. Before we get into the serious, though, I wanted to ask you, same question I ask everyone. What is the most interesting, innovative, or stupid IoT device you ever encountered?
Actually, I have a good one. Back at Microsoft, when you and I both were there, I worked with a partner to integrate IoT with the HoloLens. So it was a HoloLens 2. And the use case was vehicle mechanics. So when they got the hood up on a car, wouldn't it be cool for a mechanic, instead of using their greasy fingers to type into a 20-year-old PC piece of junk, right, is to use a HoloLens and actually see exploding parts diagrams and be able to read and swipe through the user manual and the product, for a starter, an alternator, right inside the HoloLens. And then we also built, what we made IoT is we built an OBD2 reader that would stream. So we'd plug it in the port in the car, and it would stream real telemetry, including trouble codes, to the HoloLens. So the mechanic could simply click through the HoloLens and clear out trouble codes and do all sorts of interesting stuff. And so the partner was going to commercialize it. Unfortunately, Microsoft kind of abandoned their investment in HoloLens, so kind of killed that.
That's a bummer. Someone will pick something up there anyways. So tell me, Kevin, what's going on at DigiSearch? DigiSearch was not known for IoT, per se, right? What's particular in your line of work at DigiSearch that IoT developers should be aware of?
So, we're in Europe here, and so the big thing now is EU Cyber Resilience Act. So that's a big one. Even today at Embedded World, the sessions for CRA were full. So I think last year when I talked about CRA, it was like, it's coming, but we're in denial. I think Europe was in a denial phase. Now they've reached acceptance, and this is stages of grieving, right? Now they're at acceptance, and now it's like, oh my God, what are we going to do? And so the room was full, and unfortunately, I think some of the CRA requirements are going to put some companies out of business because they're so onerous. They're a good thing. Like we're raising the posture of security across the Internet of Things.
Sometimes it's too much.
But if you're selling like a $20 smart bulb, like how much margin do you have left anymore, right?
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see. So we're trying to make security in our product lines that we deliver to our customers both cost effective for them, right? And then the second big thing is now it's kind of 1-2 punch is now the move to the new quantum resistant crypto algorithms. So NIST in the US, ratified 3 of them last fall. So now we've got about 10 years to get off all of RSA and elliptical curve and replace every certificate in the world and across mobile apps, web apps, and of course the Internet of Things. So it's like a 1-2 punch. It's like Y2K without a date, except NIST has given us a date now to get off because they fully anticipate quantum computers to be able to break RSA and elliptical curve pretty soon. So the combination of PQC.
Well, you can stop all quantum computing development, right?
Yeah, we could stop that.
Try and sabotage that. That's an
Exactly.
option. That's where we're going, right?
Yeah.
You remove the threat.
Yeah. So we're trying to help our customers stay above water with these incoming things, plus do all the proper security.
So how do you start today and be future-proof with this kind of progress that are actually putting you even more at risk than how do you do it? What's your approach for being future-proof? When you build an IoT device, you build it for the next 10.
Exactly. Yeah.
And yes, you start having over-the-air updates capabilities and things like that. But what's your take and suggestion if someone was architecturing, thinking a device that will have to be 10 years, 20 years, in production, working? How do they ensure they are still safe in 20 years from now?
Yeah, it's like you gotta look into the future a little bit, and that future is the CRA, right? A little bit of crystal ball stuff, and we know the future involves transition of quantum safe algorithms. We know those are for sure, right? And we see some other emerging trends around AI at the edge, etc. And then we need security on the models so they aren't tampered with, etc. But those ones we know now. So we're like actually now implementing those things. So in our products at DigiCert, we've already implemented all the PQC stuff, over-the-air updates. We know customers will need that to get ready for these products. So if you have a new greenfield product you're launching and it's going to have a lifespan of 7 or 8 years, EU CRA actually tells us now you have to actually announce your lifespan to your customers on your box, on your product.
It feels like it's common sense, though.
Yes. Yes.
But it's good that it's regulated.
Yeah. Yeah. Like that. And you just can't turn off these security updates if you want to. Like you can't. Yeah. Right. EU will come and give you problems.
Rightfully so.
Yeah.
It's like
so
daddy and mommy are telling you.
Yeah. So to prepare, there's certain things we know now. Yeah. We don't know it all, but we know now what's going to happen, at least for a few years out. We can get our customers prepared.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
One thing I like with you, Kevin, is trying to talk security. You're not the one that's trying to scare people out. Or play the big boogeyman,
big hackers,
in big trouble, whatever, or making too much fun of it. You're constructive. I like that. That's an approach I really like, and is refreshing in security. I think personally. So, kudos to you.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Kudos to you, man.
Yeah.
Well, Kevin, awesome for coming. Your glass of light. Everyone, thanks for tuning in.
Yeah.
We're gonna have all these videos available on demand as well. If you are at the Embedded World and watching right now, don't forget to stop by all the booths of the people who talked today. If you want to continue the conversation, ask questions you've not asked, and we'll see you soon.
All right. Thanks, Olivier.
Yeah. Bye, everyone.